Fresh drinking water resources are increasingly threatened throughout the world, with a population of over 7 million, increasing industries, expansion of grazing lands, and domestic animal populations are just some of the things adding to stressed water reserves. The United States is not immune to this problem. Even small and cyclical droughts can be devastating to water-stressed areas with high populations or substantial agricultural areas, as seen in the southwest United States. Nothing can replace fresh water. It is an absolute requirement for life. In areas with and without freshwater abundance, contaminants and stormwater runoff from commercial, agricultural, and residential development render water sources unfit for human consumption and can affect ecosystem processes that humans depend on. Human activity continues to decimate freshwater sources through both consumption and contamination. Lake Manatee is the principal water reserve in the 360 square mile watershed and connected to over 30 creeks, branches, rivers, and reservoirs that are part of the watershed. According to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, or DEP, Lake Manatee is contaminated with copper, and the water bodies connected via the Manatee River contain mercury, lead, and zinc, and show traces of pesticide solutions. The central Manatee River at the Braden River confluence is fully developed, as are the banks along the entire Braden River. Development continues east along the Manatee River. This is represented on the map by roadways, subdivisions, and the yellow color code used for residential and mixed-use commercial land. The Manatee River's course continues from map section 16:16 to the southeast corner of map section 14:14, where it then continues on to the reservoir. Let's address the effects of urbanization on water sources. Studies reveal that developed land does not absorb water as well as undeveloped land. Even agricultural plots lack vegetation and are designed to drain excess water. Roads, commercial buildings, parking lots, and housing developments have more runoff due to sewers, ditches, and impermeable surfaces such as concrete and asphalt that are all designed to drain water quickly. Stormwater runoff is not pure water. It is often contaminated with human, animal, or industrial waste like the chemicals and toxins left over from human activities such as landscaping, automotive maintenance, or even antibiotics and other drugs. The sheer volume and force of the runoff water also picks up loose soil that can have bacteria and parasites attached to it. All of this is carried into the watershed with the runoff. Stormwater runoff can be a danger to public health. Information in the American Journal for Public Health states that the health of the citizens of Milwaukee and Philadelphia are threatened by bacteria and parasites carried into recreational waters from contaminated soil elements and other pollutants in stormwater runoff. In Indianapolis, Indiana, the watershed is contaminated with lead, copper, and zinc. Scientists relate this to an 18% increase in urbanization and excessive unfiltered runoff that resulted in a 50% increase in contaminant levels in less than 20 years. According to the DEP, the Manatee County watershed already has elevated amounts of some of the same contaminants. According to County Ordinance 89-01, the Manatee County Comprehensive Plan for Land Development and Future Land Use, both sides of the 36-mile-long Manatee River are zoned for development. The exception is for the flood zone, labeled as a conservation area that extends approximately 3 miles from Rye Bridge to the county dam. With the dam in place, the natural flow of the river has been altered. The ocean tide now causes the river to flow in reverse at high tide. Without a steady current, pollutants can accrue in freshwater systems. The approximate 13 miles of river that flows into the Tampa Bay, beginning at the Interstate 75 bridge, is fully developed to the point that there is no public shoreline, aside from a small cove at the DeSoto National Memorial. Increased stormwater runoff does result in higher amounts of pollutants in rivers and watersheds. The DEP data on the Manatee County Water Atlas reports most of the natural water bodies in Manatee County are considered Class 3, or impaired water. The primary pollutants causing the impairment are mercury and fecal coliform. The water from Rye Bridge to the dam is considered Class 1. The banks along the river in this area are undeveloped due to a conservation area that was deemed unsuitable for human habitation because of possible flooding if the dam failed. At high volume and speed, runoff water carries bacteria and parasites attached to sediment like dirt from construction sites. The DEP plainly states that all the ditches, canals, and ponds designed for stormwater management in Florida are not fishable or swimmable. This reflects the content of stormwater runoff. The primary control for reducing runoff is to reduce development, especially in our watershed areas. Other controls, such as best management practices or BMPs, can be employed. Some BMPs are natural vegetation buffers, reduced irrigation, obstacles in place to prevent loose soil runoff, using filtered runoff ditches or deep bioretention ponds that have shown positive results in experiments. Lastly, livestock waste can also be a problem. As they say in India, bring the water to the cows and not the cows to the water. Recommendations to improve and sustain water quality include considering all of the previous BMPs. Additionally, existing vegetation along the primary highways and any road within sight of water must be left in place. Native plants with high filter rates or evapotranspiration rates or high density, such as sawgrass, willow trees, and mangroves, should be planted in the buffer areas. All main sewer lines should connect to retention ponds or ditch breaks that have overflow and outflow filters. Do not build roads next to freshwater resources. Many cities and locations in Florida are challenged by water supply and contamination. The areas that embrace solutions will prosper. With clean drinking water, pristine recreational waters, and healthy waterside ecosystems, Manatee County would become the better place to live.